guys, how's it going? It's your girl Alma Flurry here, welcoming you back to another episode of the Scorpio Ascendant YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about Mars in Libra, but first, if you haven't already, please go online, find a natal birth chart calculator, and get your planetary placements done. You just need the exact time of birth to get your ascendant, and it will basically give you an outline of your houses and a screenshot of where the planets were transiting at the exact moment you were born. It's essential for spiritual growth and development, and it changed my life, and I'm just here to pay it forward. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about Mars in Libra. Well, what is Mars? Mars is the first house of the zodiac. So he's the youngest and the most immature and the most underdeveloped out of all of the zodiac signs, because he represents the self, the body, the head, you know. That's why Mars represents like anger and hot-headedness, you know what I mean? Like underdeveloped emotional intelligence. Mars also represents battle and war, as he's the ruler of Aries. He represents bloodshed and vitality, and he represents injury and athleticism. But he also represents anger, and in Scorpio can represent rage and chaos and unexpected things and you know, ups and downs and sudden things that happened. You know, Scorpio rules trauma and transformation as well, and is co-ruled by Pluto, who's the higher octave of Mars. And Mars is your energy and how you get what you want out of life. Mars is also your leadership and your leadership style, you know what I mean? And what you focus on, you know, and how you focus on it, and how you extract what you want out of this life. He's selfish by nature, you know what I mean? And that's why he's on the opposite axis of Libra, which represents other people. It represents relationships and bonds and contracts and marriage, you know what I mean? And balance and kind of like sacrificing the self for other people, you know? It represents just like, it's ruled by Venus, so it's like graciousness, you know what I mean? And Libras are very concerned with like how they serve like kind of like their partners, you know what I mean? Not necessarily like in the Virgo way, but like in the relationship type of way. Like Libra is a very kind of like passive energy. It's cardinal air, and you know, because it's ruled by Venus, it's like very, there's an element to pleasure, not as much as Taurus, but there is an element to that because it's Venusian, you know what I mean? And, you know, marriage and relationships is bonds, and the balance of that dynamic is very essential to Libra energy. So when you put Mars, the selfish, self-governing, I just want to do it my own way planet within Libra, which is about, no, this is our way, not your way, having to sacrifice yourself and what you really want, your own personal desires and your own personal passions for somebody else, you know, Mars falls here because it's on the opposite axis of Aries. And the reason why Mars falls here is because people with Mars in Libra don't always understand that it's not about everybody else. Sometimes you do have to put your foot down and be decisive, and people with Mars and Libra have a really hard time doing that. Like, they care a lot about the opinions of other people, and a lot of times they could be like ingratiated into the identity of somebody else because they lack that self-assuredness and that self-confidence to be like, no, this is the way that it is, and I'm making a decision, and I don't really care what you have to say. And this is why it's, you know, I don't really look for Mars and Libras as like a leadership, unless it's like a politician who's able to like play both sides, because Mars and Libras play both sides, you know what I mean? It's like, whose side are you on when you're looking to a like Mars and Libra to make a decision? It's like they're never gonna make like some like decision that has to be like, you know, mutually exclusive. They're never going to be like, okay, it's like hard for them to even hold people accountable for things because they could always like see everybody's side. You know, it's like, oh, I could see why they would say that, or I could see why they're upset. It's like, whose side are you on? And that's why it's like, it's hard for people to have strong Mars, you know, like a strong Mars, places where Mars is actually dignified. It's hard for them to really like deal with people with, you know, Mars and Libra, because Mars and Libra always feels like they need somebody else. They need a partner. They want to like walk in tandem with somebody and feel like this person completes me. You know what I mean? With that Libra energy, that balance. It's like, I can't do it on my own. I need somebody else. Like, they can't make a decision on their own. They have to go consult somebody else and like hear what somebody else has to say, and then hear what someone else has to say and be like, yeah, I think that this is the right way, after they've already had like the input of other people that might have strong Mars. You know what I mean? And so the people with strong, what people with Pluto or Mars and Libra don't understand is that people with strong Mars can like smell that like lack of self-assuredness out like a shark smelling blood. You know what I mean? And they think like the best out of everybody, and they see the best out of everybody, and they're just like, oh, well, I see the good in everything. And it's almost like they could be naive sometimes when it comes to relationships, because they could be so overly generous and give so much to like their partners, because relationships, like, that's where they put their energy towards, you know what I mean? And they could be naive a lot, because they attract narcissists that just sniff them out, like narcissists do. Like, narcissist is a shark, and the Mars and Libra is like the fish bleeding out, and it's like, they could just smell them from a mile away, and they get taken advantage of a lot because of their lack of backbone, and this makes the Mars and Libra get like very resentful, because they're like, oh, well, I did all this for you, and how could you like be disloyal, because I did this for you, and I put so much energy into this for you, and I get up in the morning for you, not for me. And it's like this would make them resentful. But Mars and Libra, it wasn't for them. It was for you. It really was for you, because all those things that you did for your partner, it was because you thought that if you did it, then that would somehow like tie them to you. Like, oh, well, they would never leave me or abandon me because I did all this for them. And so it's almost like you do things for people so that you can later be like, well, I did this for you, so you owe me. You're indebted to me because I did this for you, because Libra is also the marketplace. You know what I mean? And Mars is a malefic planet. Mars is not a nice planet. He's the god of war. You know what I mean? So you're putting the god of war and like expecting him to like be in a relationship. So he has to suppress his own self-desires in order to help or keep the peace in a relationship. And they don't realize it's like, while you're keeping the peace because confrontation makes you uncomfortable and you'd rather just like have like sunshine and rainbows, like, you don't realize like everybody does not have a Mars in Libra. There's some people out here that has Mars in a fire sign, or Mars in the first house, or like a North Node in Aries or something, and they will just like eviscerate you because you see the best in everybody, and you refuse to see, think that there can be capable of atrocities, or can be capable of betrayal or disloyalty. You know what I mean? And this is why Mars and Libras get their hearts broken a lot. And they grow to be very resentful because they don't understand like why other people aren't putting in as much effort as they are. Back to like Mars and leadership, like, Mars and Libra, I know that you think like diplomacy is the best way to like resolve conflicts, and that's why you'd make a great politician. Or even a great lawyer, you'd be a great mediator. These people are always in positions where they're mediating conflict between two people, and that's like where they put their energy in, because they want everybody to just get along. But the thing is like Mars and Libra, there are other people out there that have like a very strong, Mars placements, or like a Saturn in the third house or something, that like they don't want to get along. They know what the dark nature of people are. Like, people with heavy Scorpio energy will be like, Mars and Libra, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, we all just get along? No, this person did me wrong, and I'm looking to you to make a decisive decision about it, Mars and Libra. But you can't, because you have to consult everybody else to even form an opinion. You know what I mean? And it can be very frustrating to people that are looking at Mars and Libra for leadership, because it's like, oh, can't we all just get along? It's like, no, we all can't just get along, because there is a right and a wrong to some people. You know, not everything is about Libra, like balance, and you know, sometimes there is like accountability that needs to be taken or held, like for somebody, because they did something wrong. And Mars in Libra has a hard time holding people accountable, because they can just, they're so like empathetic, and like this is a feminine sign. You know what I mean? And Mars is a masculine planet. So it's like putting masculine Mars in a feminine sign. And it's like, this is why he doesn't do well here at all. Because, you know, Mars is, I would know. I have Mars and Pluto in the first house as a Scorpio ascendant. So I am Martian ruled. I'm a maiden of Mars. You know what I mean? Like Mars is very important to me. And, you know, Mars in Libra is like the antithesis of like the expression of Mars energy. Like, you know, you ever heard like nice guys finish last? Like that is Mars in Libra. You know what I mean? And it's like, you guys would do great like in a relationship. But the thing is, like, you guys want to control the relationship, but you don't realize that you guys attract narcissists. So there's always going to be this like pull, because like you're doing so much for your relationship because you think it's going to, you know, make them like place them in like a subordinate position, and they're going to like be indebted to you, and they're never going to abandon you or leave you because, you know, oh, you did so much for them. How can they? And, you know, you want to, a lot of the times Mars and Libras will try to like change their partners. Like they'll find a partner, you know, because they're usually serial monogamous. Yeah. And they're usually have like one relationship after another because they just love being in relationships. They don't feel complete alone. Like these people, you know, it's hard for these people to even spend like 7 days by themselves. You know what I mean? Like they have to be with people, but like they don't realize that they attract narcissists because it's like they're very indecisive, and they come off to other people like they can't make a decision, or like they don't know like what to do about a situation. They have to consult other people. They can't just like be like, okay, you know what, like this has to go here, this has to go here, this has to go here, like move this around, like, you know, they have to be like, well, what do you think about, what do you think is the best move about it? And like narcissists see that energy and they're like, oh, this person doesn't have a strong mind of their own, snatch. You know what I mean? And so it creates these like toxic relationships and this toxic like relationship dynamic, because it's like you want control, Mars and Libra, but you're projecting this energy like you have no control over your own mind. And like people that are narcissists will take advantage of that. And so when you're sitting and like being resentful that like you have like, you know, a series of relationships that just don't work, you need to like, you know, especially if you're a man, you have to like come back and think like, you know, relationships are really important to you. You want to get married one day, but it's like, why are your relationships not working out? You know what I mean? Could it be because you aren't valuing your own autonomy? You know what I mean? Your own self-assuredness, your own direction in life. Like you always have to like be veered off your path, even if it's like your sacred path, you're being veered off your destiny because of some relationship that might not even be for you in the first place. It's just like this placeholder because you have to be in a relationship to feel confident about yourself. And you feel like if you're alone, it like somehow like, it depreciates your value or something like that. And so I'm sorry if I'm coming at Mars and Libra heavy. I'm just, you know, relying on a Mars and Libra right now to make a leadership decision. And I'm just sitting here like, you know, a sitting duck because I already know what's good with Mars and Libra. Mars and Libra don't know what's good with Mars and Libra, but I'm an astrologer, you know what I mean? And I know what's good with Mars and Libra. And, you know, it's just like Mars and Libra, not everybody appreciates your lack of side choosing. You know, some people out here like would really like to know that you're loyal and that you have their back. You know what I mean? Like even if you know, you got to defend them to other people, and that's going to make other people look at you like you're afraid of what people are going to think about you. You know what I mean? So you don't want to make the wrong decision because you want to fit in and be accepted by everybody, and you don't want people to think of you, you know, like a certain type of way because you made this decision. It's like, bro, it's like, you know, your team would really like you to be on their team and not try to be on everybody's team, because Mars and Libra is on everybody's team. They just want everybody to get along, you know, to a fault where they would even throw sometimes their own team under the bus if it's like going to preserve their image to the greater group, you know what I mean, or the more popular kids, you know what I'm saying. You know, Mars and Libra cares a lot about their image because it's Venusian. You know, Libra is it's ruled by Venus, so they care a lot about their image, how people perceive them, what they dress like, what they look like, you know, what this exterior representation like front is, you know. And I'm not saying that they're disingenuous. I just think that like they don't always do what their instincts tell them to do. You know, you got to look at the whole chart as a whole. Maybe they have like heavy Scorpio placements where it's like they're going to do what they want to do regardless. You know what I mean? But, you know, Mars falls in Libra for that reason. So that's my video on Mars and Libra. I hope you guys liked it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time for Saturn in the 5th house. I know I kind of like disrupted my Saturn series because I'm doing Saturn through the houses right now, but I really just woke up wanting to do, like, I had to touch on Mars and Libra because I'm dealing with Mars and Libra right now and it's driving me nuts. Alrighty, Lama Flory for the win. I'll catch you next time.